Hey guys, welcome to IGTV Wednesday with me. Today we will talk about two poses, the bridge and the wheel pose. So two back bends. The first, the bridge pose, is very accessible for everyone. So I like to add a little bit of spice and legs and glutes and basically the butt muscles engagement. Also hamstrings are contributing, the thighs and the inner thighs that are very important for any back bend where you are opening your hips. They help to stabilize the pelvis and protect your knees also because they don't split to the sides if you use your inner thighs. So starting in the bridge preparation pose, and then just putting your feet as wide as your hips, preferably so they are parallel to each other. You don't see them, so you don't really know much about their position. But yeah, you can just do your best. You don't have to really touch your heels. I like to have the ankles, or imagine that the ankles are already below the knees. But yeah, if you don't, if you have very sensitive knees, maybe don't walk the heels too much, so you don't have very acute angle here, especially after you lift. Your hands are beside you, and maybe you can also add a bend in your elbows just so you use your arms a little bit more. You can start pressing the elbows down, even the upper arms down, and then just tuck your pelvis. So in order to use your glutes a little bit more effectively, you need to really push the pubic bone towards your chest, towards your head, squeezing the belly even, and really pressing the low back down. And maybe your hips already start to lift and you already feel a little bit of energy in your glutes. And then raise your toes and press through your heels, through your feet, and then you feel also your hamstring engaging. Make sure that your knees don't go to the side, so squeezing those inner thighs, really energize the legs, and slowly, with control, start to roll the spine, one vertebra after the other, away from the mat. Keep your belly in, really engage the core, pressing through those heels, pressing through the upper arms, lifting all the way up, still keeping the knees in the same width as your hips. Once you're on top, squeeze your glutes a little bit more, press through your feet, maybe come up onto the tips of your shoulders. So this time you can really try to bring the chest towards your chin, keeping your neck relaxed, and then slowly coming back, untucking those shoulders, pressing through your heels, squeezing your butt as you roll your upper back, squeezing your belly as you press your middle back into the mat, and then the lower back, and then you relax. So this is the way I like to come into the bridge pose. But you can add at the end. So once you come all the way up, you come on the tips of the shoulders, you can interlace your fingers, staying here, pressing from your feet, squeezing your inner thighs, enjoying the stretch in your chest, in your shoulders, working those legs and those glutes. And then after you finish, you windshield wiper your legs to both sides. So you release your spine and also your legs a little bit. Okay, for the wheel pose, if you're for the wheel pose, the same applies. The legs stay the same. You come up even the same way. You just need to use or add the arms and the hands. For this one, it's not so accessible for many people, especially if your shoulders are not open. Then I suggest lots of puppy poses to do before, and even if you are not doing the wheel pose, if you're not trying it, just so you open your shoulders and your upper back for the future. Even if you have shoulders open, you should do this pose before attempting the wheel. Starting from the same position, your feet are as wide as your hips, and you can already prepare your palms. And we want to do the same thing with our hands and arms as we are doing with the legs. So we don't want the knees to splay to the sides to keep the pelvis very in a safe position. The same applies for your arms. You don't want the elbows to splay to the sides to protect your shoulders. You want to keep the elbows still all the time pointing up. So if you don't have very open shoulders, you don't want to start too close towards your shoulders with your palms. You need to walk them a little bit out. And then I like also to open the fingers to the sides, since if your fingers are towards your ears, towards your head, the elbows have much more tendency to open to the sides. You want to stay on the inner side of your palm when you are pressing up. So start slowly lifting your hips, the same as in your bridge. Once you are up, so the most weight was lifted using your legs, which are much stronger. Then you press through your palms and you lift. You don't have to go too high up. Keep squeezing those arms together. You lift and maybe you land on the top of your head. And this might be where you finish. You don't have to move too far. If you feel like your knees and your thighs are working too much, maybe you walk your feet a little bit more forward, just so your knees are not suffering. Then from here try to lift your head very much with control, using your arms. And then when you want to come out of this, you have to lift, bring the chin in towards your chest, slowly rolling the spine down, taking a break, using big breaths. Maybe if you feel your wrists, because they are bent a lot, this pose, you move them in between. If you want to press all the way up into your bridge, you come to the same. So first the hips, most of the weight lifted, you press, you end first in the middle stop on the top of your head. Then you really use your fingertips, your palms, and try to press everything up using your arms. It's easier if you can press all the way into straight elbows, because otherwise you're working your hands, your arms a lot. From here, if you feel your low back, what you can do is you can lift up onto the tips of your feet, so raising your heels, but don't open the knees to the side. So keep squeezing those inner thighs as much as possible. And then you try to shift the chest forward. If you come down, keep some energy in your arms and come down with control, bring the chin in towards your chest. Get moving your legs and wrists. You want to work to go a little bit deeper. The next step after you lift is to really press through your heels and your feet, squeezing your butt, your glutes, and your inner thighs, and you try to press through your feet forward, opening the upper chest, really squeezing through your arms, rotating the triceps inwards towards the front, trying to press forward, forward, forward. Maybe even extending the knees. Maybe even walking the feet closer or the arms closer. And trying to stay out of your low back, more into bring the opening more into your chest, into your shoulders, and to your hip flexors by effectively using your legs. Okay, that's it from me today. Just remember to work on this pose as often as possible if you really want to be good at it, because it's a hard one if you're not naturally very flexible. And the more you do it, the better you will get at it. Thank you so much. See you next time.